All right, all right, all right. Greetings and heavenly salutations to all. Master Ashep here, your metaphysical warrior priest, founder of Soul Healer, and co-founder of the Collective Health Initiative, also known as the C.H.I, your holistic HMO. So we're here today for a brief presentation doing this lunch and learn or lunch and learn presentation, which is a brief, maybe a mini workshop, mini class, you can look at it that way, on a particular topic. And today's topic is your chakras and your health. So, as my person maybe sending out a few, what's this called? Send some stuff out to people that know we're live and everything. We're just going to play our theme song. And once the theme song has ended, then, we'll be back to get it in with your chakras and your health. So enjoy the theme song. All right.
You won't know who I am from what you perceive. But if you listen when we speak, then you will receive a glimpse of who I am. And then you'll believe and have a life of peace, because your soul is at ease. You see, our source is conceived, which means that we were here before the bird and the bee. Now if you have not guessed, I am eternity. But now if you have guessed, and you guessed correctly, that simply means we share the same destiny. We are the God and Trinity that is talked about in Christianity. Now some will say that vanity or go as far as insanity. It's because they believe in Western theology. But as for we see, we choose ancient Kemetic philosophy. Not to say that's the only path to immortality. That's the path where we, this life, you see, as we devote our life to helping others be free, so they in turn can reach their full divinity. And this is done because of the he in I and the I in he. Peace and wholeness.
Body. All right, welcome back. Yes, aloha, aloha. Greetings and heavenly salutations once again. Chakra, divinity, love, humanity. Yes, and everyone else who was online. And welcome to this presentation of your chakras, and your health. Just a brief, about a half-hour presentation, share some information on chakras from my person's perspective. And just a little bit of insight, a little backstory, not going too deep because most of my personal story has been shared already. Incarnated in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, back in 1972, down in the dirty. And like most, people, we've experienced some traumas, raped, bullied, racism, mom on crack, didn't fit in, sort of the black sheep, looked at it as different, all these things. So graduating high school, we said, we out of this camp. Let's blow this camp, join the Navy. And the frame of mind was, we're going to show you we somebody, prove ourselves. And with that, we want to assimilate, to assimilate. And with that assimilation, my person, as it looked back, it didn't realize how much of a sellout it had become. Some may say an Oreo, a house Negro even. My person had a European mind, lacking this what something called the black culture and culture, really, from us. And if so, it was ashamed of it, whatever it was, because of the journey of the traumas and wanting to fit in, wanting to fit in so bad, doing whatever it takes. So, and then somewhere along the line, we had this notion to let's get right with God. Let's get spiritual. Let's go to the church. Was raised in the church, so let's get back to the church. And in the process of going back to the church, reading this Bible and saying we're going to be a good man of God, we discovered that death, the physical death, was an option because we found out that two prophets in the Old Testament, Enoch and Elijah, they didn't die. They just went to heaven to be with God, walk with God, up in the whirlwind. They, some may say they obtained the rainbow body or light body, So, and with that understanding of not dying, or at least the intention, the goal of not dying, it led my person to find out more about self, knowing self and what the process looks like. Hence the rainbow body, the light body. And with that, we're looking at the chakras. Again, back to the chakras, they're part of the rainbow body in a sense, because the 7 major chakras that I want to speak about, have the 7 colors of the rainbow. So with that, let's just, get right up into it. First of all, what are chakras? So, and slow down a little bit, drink some water. We find ourselves, rushing. Sometimes we can get a little ahead of ourselves in a sense. So we're going to take a breath or two and drink some agua, some water to calm down this vessel, this being. This can be kind of exciting, a little rush. When you share your passion, share those things that you find near and dear to your heart, you can just, say 100 miles and running, so we're going to slow down because although a lot of people may be familiar with the chakras, not everyone may be as familiar. So we're going to be sure to slow down to, make things plain and clear. So here we go. When you make that sound, personally, you engaged in the now. It's like refreshing. It's like centered. So with that, let us continue. Okay. So basically, we're going to be talking a little bit about what are chakras and their purpose, how do they work, and more importantly, how can we use this information to support healing in our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies. So, and generally speaking, the word chakra in itself comes from what may be looked at as an ancient Indo-European language, or comes from an ancient Indo-European language called Sanskrit. And chakra generally translate to imply a wheel or energy center, so that's what we're going with. My person looks at it as a portal, a black hole in a sense, so it's a portal energy center, there you have it. And generally when someone is speaking about their chakras or a particular chakra, they are usually making reference to one or more of the 7 major chakras or energy centers that line the spine. We're talking about the spine from the tailbone where we sit down. When we sit, generally speaking, we're sitting on our root chakra, and at the top of the head, at the top is the crown chakra. So, and this is a different device. It's an iMac. We kind of, from time to time, we upgrade our platform here instead of using the PC, the iMac. And not being as familiar with the iMac, we don't have our chart. We will just show a chart up here so you can see, get a general idea. Nonetheless, some of the more, because of technology, if you simply Google chakras, more than likely, or at least you Google 7 chakras, your main chakras, they'll show the images of where these chakras are located throughout the body. Okay, so again, we're not going to go spend too much time in detail on a lot of things. We're going to be very light, very general, but yet the intention is to provide enough information where it's really beneficial and you can walk away with something in your toolbox, something that you can use that will, again, assist you on your journey of health and healing. All right. And again, we talk about chakras. There's 7 major. This is, our focus today, 7 major chakras. But there's chakras all throughout the body, many chakras. And there are major chakras and minor chakras and micro chakras in a sense. And the smaller chakras or the micro chakras, they're called acupoints, a little FYI. Because some of you may be familiar with acupuncture, which is a Chinese healing modality where they take the needles and they strategically place in certain parts of the body. And what they're doing is placing these needles on what's called acupoints, very, very small chakras. And because our beloved friend, divine being, manifestation of source energy, chakra, is viewing this, you may hear from time to time, not just the word chakra, but chakra, making that connection to the divine feminine known as chakra, divinity, love, humanity. Again, it's a shout out to you, beloved. Love you a lot, and thanks for tuning in. So again, these many chakras, acupoints, they're dealt with traditional Chinese modality called acupuncture, as well as a modality called reflexology. And reflexology is more acupressure, whereas you would take your thumb or you take your finger and apply pressure to these acupoints. And the most familiar acupressure is reflexology, which can be done in the hands or the feet, and even the ears. The ears is a reflexology. And the reason why, because all of the body parts can be manipulated in the sole of the feet, in the palms of the hand, and in the ears. So, and also, just as an FYI, little commercial about yours truly, which we may throw in from time to time. Acupressure is also used in the modality which is called heart touch therapy. Heart touch therapy is a modality that my person created, and breath master Aaron Motley named heart touch therapy. And the name has shifted a little bit, or the acronym has shifted a little bit. Yet my person remains true to the original coming forth from breath master, which is heart, holistic, energetic, acusage, Reiki, and tapping. And acusage is a combination of acupressure and massage. All right, so there you have it. Now back to the chakras. Okay, so these chakras, these 7 major energy centers, right? So the purpose of them, again, my person's modality system, besides the heart touch therapy, it also created this system called the Breath of Life Training Meditation Initiation System. And what this Breath of Life Meditation Initiation System is also known as the BOLT, B-O-L-T, the BOLT. So my person, if you listen to it speak sometime in different conversations, or if it gets a little bit like earlier, say let's drink some water and breathe a little bit. My person would also say, let us bolt, B-O-L-T, let us secure ourselves, let us bolt, let us ground ourselves into this present moment in time and place and space. Let us bolt. And so that's an indication of this BOLT, this Breath of Life Training Meditation Initiation System, is a lifestyle that allows my person to be as calm and relaxed as it can be at any given moment, which allows for the connection and insight with the divine. So, um, again, another commercial about the breath of life training, aka the boat. Okay, and from this boat, again, this lifestyle, my person has created a system where it uses the chakras. And first of all, it came up with the idea of simplicity. What are they? What are their purpose? Okay, and so from a simple perspective, um, it's a twofold. One is communication. Communication is with our environment and with each other. And the other purpose is to serve as a bridge between us and Mother, Father, God, or source energy, so that we may become aware of its presence, source energy, because source energy is right here, Mother, Father, God is right here. Everything is right here, you know. And so we may become aware of its presence, not through intellectually saying it's right here, but through feeling, the feeling of the presence of God. And how do you know this? Either you may feel the peace of God that passes all understanding, it's so peaceful, or this unshakable joy. And you're not at an event. No one said anything. You're not at a concert. You're not watching your favorite movie, eating your favorite food. You just have this feeling. Be by yourself or around people. This feeling comes from within. Again, this is an indication of being connected to the source energy, Mother, Father, God. So again, from a certain perspective, our chakras, as they are more aligned and in harmony, allows more of this connectedness. And with this connectedness, of course, becomes more insight, intuitiveness. We're able to know what we're to do for us, how to be, what to say, what not to say, where to go, where not to go, what to eat, what not to eat. Because all these things is coming directly from, Mother, Father, God, specifically for our purpose right now. And my person like to suggest that at any given moment, these things can change, which is why it is good to always be aware of the connection, because we remain lucid, like loosey goosey. So it could be yesterday, and the next day it could be the same thing based upon what's happening. So just a little more, insight from my person on the importance of being connected to source energy by having our chakras so-called aligned or balanced, and as well as the communication, because the communication, most of us have experienced being around a person, people, place, in a physical place and environment, right? And have noticed either pleasant or unpleasant feelings, right? Especially from those who are more empathic, chakra, and most divine feminines, just generally that's a characteristic of the divine, the manifestation of the divine feminine. Empathic, because the divine feminine is more receptive. And men have the energy of the divine feminine as well. So everybody has feminine energy in it. It's one of the seven hermetic principles, the law of gender. Everything has gender. Everything is masculine and female. Everything has this way. So we were speaking mainly about the divine feminine and being empathic. And again, these chakras allow us to feel more, to feel more. Mm-hmm. So now here's the caveat. Now this is where it get kind of a little tricky, a little, it's like, okay, even though we have this ability to feel, to sense what is coming to us, right? There's something called programming and conditions, right? So with the programming and conditions, that simply indicates that as we are aware, become aware of energies around us, because it's information. As our chakras pull in information, right? It comes through a filter, the chakras, maybe look as a filter themselves, and this filter again is our programming and conditioning. So, and most of us are familiar with our programming and conditioning, right? Which is generally our perception and our perspective. Our perception, what we perceive, what we see, and our perspective, what we think and or feel about what we see, right? And so this again will shape, will color, the pure information that's coming in. right? And so, in reality, the conscious mind, and most of the time, this programming conditions comes from that subconscious mind. And most of us have heard of the word triggers. Oh, we've been triggered. We get triggered sometimes, because somewhere in the subconscious mind, just a little caveat, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind is really one mind acting as two minds. And so part of my person's goal is, to move past that so-called the illusion of the two minds and just have one mind. So it is aware from the subconscious mind. That's a different presentation. Again, we can easily go down many different rabbit holes in this thing. But just to keep things simple again, when we look at our chakra energy centers, and as they take in light, which is information, based upon our programming and our conditionings, as we grew up, was generally speaking, maybe traumatic. We have these highly emotional experiences growing up that was unpleasant, right? Unpleasant experiences growing up as a child, even as an adult, but generally as a child, as a youth, these unpleasant experiences, they are stored within our being because they're just the way energy works. And so as they're stored, and then at some point in time, we're doing stuff, going about our daily business, and we can take in some information. And from the subconscious mind, it reminds us of the time that we would have this pain, this emotional pain, this mental pain. And so we may act out on that, right? And so that's generally what happens when we look at the filter that or the lens that shades the information that is coming in pure. Because ideally, pure energy is pure, chi is pure, prana is pure. It is not good nor bad, as most people we are aware about now. It is what we think about the information that determines whether or not it is good or bad, which again, our perspective on what we perceive. All right. So take some more water, because again, we find ourselves, we even have some notes here. We kind of got away from the notes a little bit. We kind of got excited again. We got to bolt a little bit more, allow things to catch up and settle down once again. Okay. Right. And also just a caveat about these our programming, our conditionings, our triggers, our traumas, the way our energy centers work, they're in place in an early age, even in the womb, because in the womb, they say that whatever's around in the environment, the baby, the infant, it picks up on it. So that's why it's important to be around, play certain music. There's a lot of fighting and tension going on in a relationship. The baby feels all of that, because of these energy centers. But that's how impacted that all of us are at an early age. And of course, we kind of maybe lose some of that as time goes on. So, so what does that mean? How do we go from there? Okay, well, let's just start with this on a lighter note. How about that? That can be kind of heavy. Talking about traumas and shit, and some people may get triggered now. Maybe getting triggered now. It recalls me. Oh yeah, and this happened. My triggers happened just yesterday, just a day. So we don't want to, what they say, dwell too much on that, but just sharing it because it is a reality in how we operate. This is my person saying how it sees itself, and yourself, others also. So this is generally how we work. So again, on a lighter note, right? Most of us, are familiar with having something to bother us, every time we experience it. And then at some point, right, we make up our minds not to be bothered any longer, right? So that same experience that used to get us, the same person with the same experience, we just say, man, we gonna move above that. We ain't bothered no more. We're not bothered no more. We're not bothered. Something called it growing up, becoming spiritually mature, spiritually evolving, or just not putting up with the same old shit no more. So whatever you want to call it, it is an indication that, again, it is not the experience that is unpleasant, but it is our perspective, how we look at it, how we process it. Again, so this is how what we think and how we feel about what we think affects the physical body. Which this is where that stress comes from. They say stress can kill, right? However, before, so much so that, but even before the physical death, there are indicators. This is an important thing. Before the physical death of stress comes, there are indicators. And a lot of times these indicators will be discomfort, and it will be discomfort in a certain area of our body. And if it's from stress, if it's from a trigger, if we are aware, for example, if it's along, say, in our torso, the torso of the body from the waist to the to the neck, to the hair, whatever, headaches, migraines, neck, throat issues, sore throat, or pain in the throat, pain in the heart, the chest, stomach disorders, wherever the pain is on this area, generally it's that chakra that's in that area that may be imbalanced, or maybe an indication that is something about the perspective, something way when we receive this energy, there's something the way that you perceive it from one of these energy centers that's causing it to cause this pain, right? Which just comes back down to why having our chakras balanced in the line, will lead to less pain and more free flowing. Because again, just like the stress, that causes discomfort and pain, and it may cause eventual death. Also, as we shift our perspective, so that we become more in alignment with our true beliefs, right? So that our filter is pure. The same as there's death, there's everlasting life, which goes back to the boat, and how, from a certain perspective, these chakras may be looked at as key to truly having everlasting life, eternal life, right? Because they're just the opposite. The law of duality, the law of polarity says that if there's death, there's life. If there's something that causes death, there's something that causes life, And again, if there's a slow death, you die slowly over time, or there's a quick death, then there's life that's prolonged. Then, okay, you live a long time. So much so that there's no death. That's, again, back to Enoch and Elijah, the rainbow body, the ascension, some may call it, right? So, as we recap quickly, we're coming up on a half an hour, these energy centers, known as chakras, will either promote health or disease in our physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual body based on what we think about our experiences and reality, and how we feel about what we think about our experiences and reality. Again, we experience reality. We experience something on a daily basis. What we think about and how we feel about it will promote life or death, basically. And again, it's coming from our energy centers. It's the foundation of our beingness, right? And because what happens is these 7 major chakras are associated with glands and organs. And there was a chart that my person was unable to, to load up to share. But what my person will do at some point, once this broadcast is over, it will look at posting in the comments. It should be able to post a picture in the comments. It will post a picture, the comments of this chart that my person used for his own self, which is also in the back of this emotional wellness workbook. Ideally, may have a picture of the book to show you, but we don't have a picture of the book. But my person has this emotional wellness workbook in which it lists the 7 major chakras. It lists the organs and glands that they're associated with. It also lists affirmations that my person may use to assist with affirming that they're the balance of them and the correct alignment of the perspective. And it also has a list of certain crystals that my person use to assist with this. Because when we look at our energy centers, which are non-physical, right? One of the things that we can do to assist their alignment is use, besides crystals, which is my person's one of his go-to crystals, we can also use aromatherapy, whether it be essential oils or incense. We can also use color therapy, candles with particular colors, specifically the colors of the rainbow. This just to name a few. Sound, vibration, color therapy, affirmations, crystals. And again, this chart my person used, for example, with the root chakra, the tailbone, we mentioned about that earlier. For example, the emotion that's associated with that particular chakra is fear. Because of from the root up to our throat, the first 5 chakras, there's an association with an emotion. The root has an emotion of fear. Solar plexus, or the sacral, the second chakra, just below the navel, have an association with worry. The solar plexus, just above the navel, below the rib cage, have an association of anger. The heart have an association of sadness, and the throat have an association with grief. Along with the emotional aspect, there's the organs. For example, the kidneys go along with the root chakra and fear. So as someone who is afraid a lot and fear, the root chakra, the root of fear, generally speaking, may stem from basic necessities of life. It's the root chakra is foundational. So if growing up, there was some challenges with food, clothing, and shelter, the basic necessities of life and love. If those things were lacking, they may cause that root chakra to be out of balance and as we grow up, it may manifest in like maybe hoarding things, being excessive, whatever, because you're afraid you're not going to have enough, these kind of things. And fear leads to worry, which is the second chakra. And worry may lead to anger, which is the third chakra, because with the fear, and if you worry, you're not being creative, which is the second chakra. So again, we can go on and on in details about the specific chakras. However, we will post the chart in the chat, because again, the lunch and learns, we're not going all the way in, because ideally, they maybe look at also as a funnel, for you to, if you find the information relative, it makes sense, and maybe put together some things that you was aware of, but didn't see it quite this way, feel free to roll with it. Again, apologies, didn't have the charts up, which makes things a little bit easier. However, if it resonates, feel free to reach out to yours truly, to the comment section, DM, whatever you may do, or anyone else that you may know who is a light worker or energy worker, who's had success working with chakras. My personal success is from his own experiences. Look at his own life and realize and see the journey that it has taken, and being able to, shift and be calm and relaxed, generally speaking, and when it's not, it knows how to get back to this place of calm and relaxation. Yeah, calm. That sounds about right. Calm and relaxation, right? So, yeah. And if there's any questions, we're just gonna slowly wind down. We're free and open for any questions that anyone may have about the lifestyle, about understanding the chakras, and we've done several presentations. For example, with my person studying the chakras, we've identified its mind and its heart. Because there's a lot of talk about mental health these days, emotional health, besides the emotional wellness workbook, which lose a little bit to it, but it still doesn't go into the detail of actually identifying the heart and the mind through the chakras, And with this identification, my person says, okay, how to align the heart and mind? If that's one of your goals, my person uses chakras to identify your heart, your mind, and to align them up so they work together. For example, Mercy sees the mind as the emotional body, divine feminine, the heart as the divine masculine, and the mental body. And again, the chakra system, it allows a lifestyle for aligning my person's heart and his mind, the divine feminine and divine masculine. So, and what that looks like is, did a presentation. The last lunch and learn was on the yin and yang of health, which my person spoke about. The source energy, which was mentioned earlier, may be looked at as generally as a divine masculine. And creation in and of itself may be looked at as a divine feminine. The reason being because divine masculine supports, upholds, supports, in God's, creation. It's a net. It's just source energy is right here. Source energy is right here. While creation do what it do, because creation is simply energy in motion. It's the flux between this and that, the yin and the yang. It's moving, baby. It's flowing. It's the atom. Everything is moving and flowing. So, the structure that it provides is the seven hermetic principles. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, rhythm, cause and effect, gender, polarity, right? And so again, my person says it's heart. Generally speaking, serves as divine masculine, just holds the space, holds the intention of what we want. Use the example of holy matrimony at times when the vows are said, to death do us part. Love you, protect, love, honor, protect, serve. Everybody say these vows, and the intention is to death do us part. But the divorce rate is very high. So the intention from the heart is this is what we're gonna do. Yet, so with the mind, some call the monkey mind, the attention, the intention, the death do us part. The attention is, what do we give our attention to? Ooh, man, that shorty over there. Ooh, want nobody to know. We just, whatever the case may be, so without giving the proper attention, the intention slacks off. So again, my person says, hold the intention of the goals that it wants, right? This is the divine masculine heart. And so what does it do? How does it support the divine feminine? It has a lifestyle of getting plenty of rest, right? And plenty of rest. Make sure you get this rest. Because when she's well rested, oh baby, she can create, make sure she's not worried. So what happens is, as my person reflects every night on its experiences, it aligns its experiences with these principles, the hermetic principles. Two of the main ones is the law of correspondence and the law of cause and effect. And it holds space. It reminds her all this shit that's happening comes back down is what's on the inside. So the day was beautiful, it was delicious. That implies we delicious on the inside. We harmonize, it's balanced. But if our day was, how did that happen? Oh shit, this wasn't cool. So at the end of the day, we reflect, this wasn't cool. So there's something inside of us that need to be looked at. And what happens is we say, well, since it's cause and effect, how do we cause this? Why did we cause this for ourselves? And so as the divine masculine, looks back and shares, intellect, looks back, and then she, the divine feminine, begins to become more at ease. Oh, so that's what happened. We did this. And on a daily basis, doing this, my person has found that it's divine masculine supports divine feminine, the same way source supports creation. So just wanted to throw that extra tidbit out there, combining this presentation with the last presentation, because for my person, it's a lifestyle. This is what we do. This is what we do. So and we see that there's no other questions, so we just give thanks for spending time with a brother, this lunch and learn, about a half hour, 12:40, maybe 40 minutes. So, all right, fam, give thanks for sharing. We'll look to post a chart or two about the chakras, chakra chart, just in case you want to see that. And also we'll get posted the chart, the diagram for the organs, the glands, the emotions and things like that. So again, give thanks. Stay tuned. There may be other lunch and learns coming up. And if there's a topic that you would like to, to dive in, not just my person, but the chi, it's a collective of us, put the comment out there. We're here to share our story on our experiences, on our own daily practices and what that looks like on this journey to healing. After all, we're in this thing together, baby, because we're all reflections of each other. And when my person heals, your person heals. When my person's in pain, your person's in pain. Sound too fun, but that's just my personal reality. So we all in this together. So again, give thanks for chiming in, checking in. Love you all much. Love you all dearly. The same as my person loves itself. And until we meet again, connect again, the best of thoughts to everyone and enjoy your creations. Ashe. Oh, yes. Mama Iya Sawu, give thanks because you are awesome. You see reflection. You are awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Till the next time, beloved. Love y'all.